guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to this reading for Dr. Sebby. I know in the States you may pronounce his name Dr. Sebi, but I've always called him Dr. Sebby. I've confirmed with him, he said that's okay. I do hope you enjoyed the reading. Please leave some love for Dr. Sebby down below, and let's get straight into reading for him. So I will give you a little bit of background if you don't know who Dr. Sebby is. Dr. Sebby was introduced into my life probably like 5 or 6, maybe actually a bit more than that, years ago, when I fell in love with Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Now, Lisa Left Eye was part of TLC. She's one of my biggest inspirations and idols. I absolutely adore her. I will leave the reading I did for her down below. And she actually sought help from Dr. Sebby. Now, Dr. Sebby was a healer and a herbalist. He believed in natural medicine, medicine from the earth, and, you know, he believed in an alkaline way of living and eating only alkaline foods. And Dr. Sebby claimed that he could heal cancer, diabetes, AIDS, herpes, along with a number of other illnesses, and he actually had people to prove that he had healed them. But in the 1980s he was basically sued and called a fraud, and was basically taken to court to say that he was claiming to heal people when he had no doctor experience. He had no knowledge of being able to heal people. He was basically being fraudulent, and that's what they took him to court for. But the judge said, I need you to bring me one person from each illness that you claim to have cured. So like one person who you've cured of cancer, one person who you've cured of diabetes, one person who you've cured of herpes, of AIDS. And bear in mind, at this time, you know, the AIDS pandemic was a really big thing. So, you know, for him to claim that he could heal that is a really big statement. Now, Dr. Sebby grew up in Honduras. He didn't have any education. He was all self-taught. And, you know, he didn't have a doctorate. He hadn't gone to university. So that's where these claims of, you know, fraudulent came from. Not only that, he was, you know, using herbs to heal, and that goes against anything that is pharmaceutical. And as we know, pharmacy is one of the biggest businesses in the whole world. They make a load of money off people being sick. So anyway, he did bring people from each illness that he'd cured. He could prove that they had the paperwork of where they had been diagnosed with the illnesses, and then through his treatment afterwards they had been healed, and they had been given like papers to say they were cured from doctors that were obviously not him, because he, you know, he didn't run a typical doctorate or doctor facility in the States. So he got, you know, his whole charges and everything got wiped, and he represented himself. He didn't have a lawyer, he didn't have anyone go to represent him. He represented himself in court. So a lot of people have basically called him a fraud over years, because he's made claims and said things which, you know, I personally believe to be true, everyone to their own, but he has made statements such as there's no such thing as germs, there's no such thing as bacteria, there's no such thing as viruses. Dr. Sebby, like many of us here in this community, believed in energy, believed in love, believed in self-care, and that we could heal ourselves, and everything we needed to heal ourselves is actually inside of ourselves. He's a really big believer of that. And one of the biggest things that Dr. Sebby believed in was love, and how love could be healing and to live from a place of love. And that's, you know, part of, you know, his family have talked about the way he made his medicine, and how when he would make it, the whole energy and mindset and his whole kind of energy field when he would make the products would be to heal. You know, that was his utter and only intention. He just wanted to help and heal people and love people and make people better. And you know, that was his intention. Now, Dr. Sebby did have 4 different wives, and as a result he has various different children from various different walks of life. If you look at his products today, there's a lot of like segregation between who's saying they've got the real products, who's saying they've got fake products. You know, we don't actually know if the real Dr. Sebby products actually exist anymore, and that's a real shame, because it would be great obviously if we could get hold of that and still be able to heal ourselves. But his first wife, Mara, to me seems the most legit. because she was with him from the very beginning, because he wasn't always into this kind of lifestyle. He came to the States with a lot of health issues. He was overweight, he suffered from asthma as well as some other things, and the doctors couldn't help him. And so he sought out a healer from Mexico who kind of, I guess, introduced him to the way of herbal healing, and he went down that route of, you know, self-taught, self-teaching, and he kind of gained his own knowledge. So he set up his own school in Honduras, school retreat in Honduras, where he could help people heal, and that's where Lisa Left Eye Lopez went. And if you watch her last day, I think it's called Lisa Left Eye's Last Days, she actually documents her journey of being in Honduras, of fasting and going on this whole healing kind of journey, and Dr. Sebby played a big part in that. So yes, so today I don't know where we can get his legitimate products. Dr. Sebby died in prison, and there's a lot of conspiracy around his death. If you know me, I'm a big conspiracist, but he was basically obtained at a Honduras prison, where he was flying out, I think, to another part of the country, and he apparently had $37,000 with him that he was carrying. Now apparently if you have over $10,000 you're supposed to claim it, and that hadn't happened. But a lot of people say he was set up. He was taken to prison with his business partner, and while he was in prison, obviously Dr. Sebby cannot eat prison food, he can't drink the water, because he believes in holistic and herbal food and water, and he would have had special water that he probably would have like I don't know, you know, ritualized and done like prayers over and things like that. So he couldn't eat those kind of things, and I actually knew that. I'd watched a brief documentary before I started to film this, and I looked up what his cause of death was, and they say it was pneumonia, but I knew that it wasn't pneumonia. And one of his daughters actually said, I spoke to him before he died, and he said, you know, he was going to die of starvation because he couldn't eat the food, because he knew that people were trying to kill him, and obviously he was going on a fast. He was about 82 at this time, so bear in mind this is an old man at the time he's arrested in a Honduran jail, where the facilities are probably really bad. It's probably cold and mouldy and, you know, damp and not very good. So yeah, he died in prison, and they put it down as pneumonia, but I personally don't feel it was. I personally feel he died from starvation, because he wouldn't have been able to eat prison food. You know, this is a man that lived completely off the earth. So there's a lot to get through, because Dr. Sebby really lived a really tremendous and amazing life. And like anyone else, I will leave all links down to any information about him down below, and they can probably give you a better backstory than I have, but that's a brief backstory of his life and who he was. But he was a great healer. And, you know, when I asked him what was the one specific thing, because that's what I've been asking everyone, you know, what would you like to talk about? What do you want to share with people? He said he wanted to talk about energy, and how, you know, energy and health and how they work and how they are combined. If you don't know, everything is energy, and he's just saying everything is energy. And he also wants to say the richest thing you could ever have, the most important, invaluable thing that you cannot buy, or that you would spend amountless parts of money on, is health. You know, but it's the one thing that we take for granted. It's the richest, best, most abundant thing you can have, but it's the thing that, you know, human beings take the most for granted. And he's saying that energy and health go hand in hand. How you choose to live your day from the moment you wake up to you go to sleep all contributes to your health and your well-being. It's not like I'll take a break from it, or I'll do this, or I'll think about my self-care later. He's saying it's constant. Everything you do contributes to your health and your wellness. And it's not until you get sick, he's saying, or you lose your health, or you lose your ability of wellness, or you've got a headache, or you're tired, or, you know, you've got stomach aches and things like that, that, you know, you really value your health and you're really thankful for it. So the act really is to be thankful for it right now, and use energy and love to do that. He's talking about raising vibrations and how what you eat and what you put into your body. He's saying that love is medicine, and that if you do everything in your life with love, so if you choose to act from a place of love, that includes choosing what food you put in your body from love, choosing what activities you partake in from a place of love, choosing how to treat other people from a place of love, that can only bring love to you. If you live from a place of fear, from a place of scarcity, you will eat things that fuel that energy. You will eat things that make you feel worse. You will attract things into your body that make you not feel very good. And he's saying, I was very aware of that, you know. Yes, the food was very big part of it, and if you look at my my record and what I actually talked about, I did talk about food, but I also knew the capabilities of human beings and the power that human beings hold in their own energetical field. And he's very big on fasting. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not encouraging anyone to do fasting, but he does want to talk about that, because that doesn't require any food. What it does require is your own inner strength and your own energetical field to hold you up, to balance you. He is saying that the earth and, you know, the way food is being produced and medicine and healing, it's all out of whack. He's saying it's even worse than when I was here. It's getting worse. He's saying, you know, it's all out of whack. Healing is right on your doorstep. He's saying you just need to learn how to access it. Nature is healing. Spending time outside can heal you. You know, take time away from the electronics, because you and yourself, and Dr. Sebby did believe that we were electrical beings. So we had, I can't describe it, I'm going to talk through, we had electric currents that run through us, and so we needed things that magnified that and brought us to life. So he really believed that when you ate dead food and you ate dead kind of animals and things like that, you were just killing that vibe, in a sense killing yourself. He said you need things that bring you to life. You need pure water, you need cleansed and alkaline food, you need fresh air, you need to be in areas that enhance your body. It's not rocket science. He's so funny. He's actually really funny, man. He's saying it's just so simple. It's really not rocket science. And what this will do, he's saying, the point that I am making here and the point that I wanted to make, I wanted to heal the world, because once we feel better within ourselves individually, we raise the vibration collectively. He's saying, imagine you all did the work on yourselves to raise your vibrations, to make sure your bodies were your temples, and that you were running the best way you possibly could, that your body was functioning in its best possible way. Could you imagine if each and every single one of us on our planet were functioning to our best abilities? The vibration of the world and the earth would raise, and that's where we need to get to. But it does start with you. And he's also talking about love, because again, love is an energetical frequency, and he's talking really fast for me, so. And he's talking about the love in which you have for yourself and how that makes you feel and how that raises your vibration. He's just talking about what you put into your life and what you pour into your life and what you pour into your body. Now he wants to talk about his own life, because he's saying I wasn't perfect and I did make mistakes, and if you look me up you will find that. Like he's saying, I had 4 wives. Everyone has their flaws and everyone has their things that they're not proud of, or that they're ashamed of, or that they wish they could have done better. And he is saying I was no different to that, but that is irrelevant from the work that I was able to do, and that is irrelevant from the work that you can do. Don't let darkness and, you know, the things that you're not so proud of tarnish your light path. You know, there are things that you've been brought here to do that can help others, that can raise the vibration. And just because you have a bad day, or just because you make a bad decision or you make a mistake, that doesn't mean you can't go on to help others, and that doesn't mean you can't still act from a place of love. And that's where he is saying to really start, because it really does start with you. If you're wanting to go out there and change the world, but you haven't really worked on yourself, then you're really going to struggle. It's going to be a lot harder, because you don't have the tools and the equipment needed. But if you fuel your body with the right things, and that includes the way you treat yourself, the emotions that you portray for yourself, and the emotions that you fill yourself up with, then things will be a lot easier for you, and you'll find that magnetically, as you are electric, you will attract more things back to you. He's saying, what I'm really saying is healing starts with you, and that's healing not just of yourself but of others and the vibration of the planet. He wants to talk about the fact that pharmaceutical companies and meat companies are some of the biggest and multi-billion pound dollars companies in the world, and that their whole functioning, the whole thing they run off, is the suppression and the illness of people. And you know, that comes down to paracetamols and tablets and processed foods. That's all marketed off your weaknesses. They want to target your weaknesses. He's saying, look at the marketing, don't just be so flippant, you know, you deserve to feel good. And he's saying that everyone deserves to feel good, and the world would be a much better place if everyone did feel good. But it does definitely start with you and the choices you make. You don't have to make massive choices overnight. He's saying, I didn't radicate and change my whole life overnight. It was just little things I slowly researched, changing the milk that you drink, or changing the butter that you have, or the vegetables, or where you buy your vegetables. Maybe not buying them from supermarkets and stores, instead buying them from farmers markets. Because when you actively choose where you buy your produce and where you spend your money, which is initially energy, where you choose to be, where you choose to go, you know, you help in raising the vibration. So when you choose to go to a farmer's market, you are choosing to live from the earth, to live from nature, to live holistically, and you raise the vibration. When you choose to go to a supermarket, you choose to live from a chain and a processed way of being, and you are kind of damaging the vibration. And that's where the earth is. His real kind of message is understanding where we are, because he's saying without that understanding you can't make a change. He's asking people to understand the way the world is working right now, because that's something he understood. He understood how pharmaceutical companies marketed their money off people's illnesses. You know, they, like, unfortunately, people were made ill so that they can and are made ill so that they can continue to make the solution, which isn't really a solution, because the products that are, the chemicals that are in the tablets and things like that, they just make you more ill. Mindset is another thing, because he's saying people will come at me for saying that. He's saying people used to come at me all the time. They used to say, well, people have healed headaches. It's the belief. It's the belief. Okay, it's the belief that you believe that a paracetamol can make you feel better, not the paracetamol itself. He's saying it's the belief that the tablet can make you feel better and not the tablet itself. If you knew how much power you had, you would be able to heal yourself really without taking anything. But living from the earth and living a plant-based life, he is saying, will enhance your health, and it will help you to think clearly so that you can make the right decisions, so that we can start to raise the vibration of this planet. And I need to take some of that because my diet is not perfect. Yes, so he just wants to say, I wasn't murdered and I wasn't killed. I did starve, but that was a choice. I couldn't eat the prison food and I couldn't drink the prison water. And he wants to talk about Nipsey Hussle, because we did talk about this prior to me turning on the camera. And he did just say that, yes, part of Nipsey Hussle's passing was to do with him and what he was trying to do, but it wasn't all, because Nipsey Hussle was doing way more than just trying to speak about Dr. Sebby. He was doing a lot more. So yes, it was part of it, but it wasn't entirely. And when I asked Dr. Sebby, you know, because I asked him initially as well, was you murdered? And he said, not completely. he's saying, when I got into the prison, I made the choice that I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat anything, I knew I wasn't going to be able to function, and so I knew I was going to die. He basically knew that. He's saying, but the people that made me get into prison, the US government, then yes, they did, I guess, contribute to my death. Would that be fair? He wants to just end by saying, whatever you pour into yourself, whether it be thoughts, food, relationships, whatever you bring into your life, just remember it's going to have an outcome, and you always want the outcome to be love. So do choose from a place of love, do act from a place of love, and therefore we can raise the vibration and he'll start to heal the planet. Is there anything else? I think we're good. I do hope you enjoyed this reading for Dr. Sebby. Please do hit a lovely thumbs up if you did. I will leave any links of documentaries and information about Dr. Sebby down below. Please do leave some love in the comments for Dr. Sebby, and I will see you soon for another reading, lovelies. Bye.